missing from that family that's found here is the kudu. So the bushbuck are the small ones, nyala the medium ones, and the kudu the large ones of that family, the spiral-horned antelope. Now on the females, all the females of that family don't have horns, and it's thought because they are a bush antelope, it would actually slow the females down. If there's predators around, they want to be able to just move through the bush rapidly, so if they have the horns, then that will just slow them down. Whereas antelope out on the open plains, they don't really have the bush to hide in, so they need some form of protection. So that's why, generally speaking, the antelope, or it's thought that the antelope that are out on the plains have horns. The females have horns as well as the males. Oh, Dacre. 2 Dacre, ooh, 3 Dacre. There goes the little one. So the Dacre, one of the dwarf antelopes. Can we still see it through there, do you think? Before they disappear? I'm not sure what was going on there. I say Dacre are usually solitary, although they can be found in pairs, so that could be a pair with the offspring. But it looked like what the third one that was spotted started running towards the little male there and put his head down, so I don't know if that was another male that was running towards him. I didn't quite see. Oh, hold on. I've still got you. Oh, I'll try my best, Nikki. Apparently kudus are Nikki's favourite antelope, and they are beautiful, especially if you find a big male with the spiral horns like a corkscrew. Oh, they are stunning, and as I say, bigger ears than the nyala. They really do have like pink satellite dishes on the side of their head. And as I say, actually, it's thought potentially, just like elephant ears helps to cool the elephant down, having large ears as well as helping to hear and detect predators, it could also contain a lot of blood vessels, or they do contain a lot of blood vessels, so just increasing the surface area, giving chance for those blood vessels to get rid of a lot of heat. It also helps cool them down, although you don't see them flapping their ears like an elephant does. That'd be quite funny, seeing a kudu flap its ears. Ah, there's a road past Little Pan here, isn't there? Aha. Safari Dean, yeah, you're so right, aren't you? We've got to be close to leopard. We've seen all the antelope that's on their list of food to eat, although leopard will eat absolutely anything. Leopard, I think a paper that came out a while ago actually counted about 102 species on the leopard's diet list. But you're right, we have been seeing them. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a chance to see the predator itself. But yeah, they'll literally turn their claws to anything. If they can get the claws into it, they'll eat it. From insects right the way through to baby giraffe, believe it or not. Kudu, I have seen leopard literally straddling a kudu that was probably about twice the size of the female, 3 times the size. I think it must have been quite a young female kudu, but still, let's say, quite large in comparison to the leopard. across what those cats are capable of. And I think for me that's one of the reasons why I just absolutely love leopards, just because of that pure power. The fact that they are solitary, so it's literally up to them. There's no reliance on anyone else, like in the pride of lions. They can actually work as a team, although lions are capable of hunting by themselves, but leopards don't usually have any other leopard around, so it's all on them. Good morning, Al Lion Moore, I think that was welcome on board. Al Lion Moore. So, wanting to know what cat is the most similar to a domestic house cat in terms of behaviour and everything. So, just to let you know, the antelope that's just, again, disappeared behind the bush. That's the female of the Nyala. So we're doing well with our antelope. Unfortunately, she's a bit camera shy, but you might have just... Oh, hello. You coming out again? Oh, there we go. Thank you, lady. So we saw the bushbook just before, and hopefully you noticed on the bushbook not many markings, and that's very typical of bushbook. They don't tend to have many markings. If they do, might be spots, but they don't tend to have stripes, whereas the Nyala have lots of stripes. But you can see that beautiful chestnut colour. And again, very different to the male that we saw earlier. The male had that charcoal colour and his yellow stockings, but still had the white stripes on his body. You can see there's a few spots there. And then if you go to the next size up, as I was saying earlier, oh hello, beautiful lady. Then we have the kudu, which is about twice the size of the female Nyala. And she looks like, ooh, she looks pregnant. Oh, she's big. Sure, she's going to drop soon, I think. There's not really any breeding season as such for the spiral-horned antelope. But the kudu tend to have just stripes. You don't really see spots on a kudu. And there's a branch over there that looks like a kudu's head. And I looked over and thought, oh, we found a kudu. No. So just to finish off answering the question before we do cross to Taylor, I would say all cats are like the domestic cat, especially when they're washing the nether regions. Like when you see a lion doing it, it's just so funny. But leopard, I would say, of the African cats, leopard is probably the closest to a domestic cat. So let's cross over to Taylor and see what she's got in the bushes for you.
It looks like Jurassic Park, doesn't it? With just those tops of the trees swaying about in the mist. We haven't got dinosaurs, but we've got elephants. It's our friends again. Third time's the charm, isn't it? That's my most reliable sighting for the day. Thank you very much, elephants. I quite enjoy them, so I'll keep coming back. Now, what I'm really hoping is that they're now going to move into an area that I cannot put a vehicle through and chase the lions out, because I'm convinced that the lions are somewhere in here. No, sorry, just had a quick listen to the radio, but I'm not sure what they're talking about, but it's nowhere we can drive. There's even a little spider's web that you can see just near that elephant. Isn't that quite cool? A little tropical tent web spider. Isn't that nice? With an elephant backdrop. That's something I have not seen before. Our whole herd is just very relaxed, moving through, nibbling on all sorts of things. I wonder if they enjoy the mist. This one is now trying to climb over trees just in front of the car. Quite agile for such a large creature, aren't you? Very nimble, being able to lift your legs quite high. Oh, also just stopping for a quick scratch. Listen to that sound. Do you hear that? Having a good old scratch on that tree. Now, Elijah, you're wondering how fast can an elephant run? Well, let's hope that we don't experience that today. I prefer it when they just walk around the cars nice and calm, but they can reach a speed of about 40 kilometers an hour, so it's much quicker than you and I can run, and quite quick off the mark too. And look, there's someone else that's just joined us. Seems like there's a little fork-tailed drongo that's also just arrived. Not surprised that this beautiful bird has joined the party of elephants. So it's not with other birds, a normal bird party, but instead it's going to wait for the elephant to chase up some insects. And look how busy it is. It doesn't know where to look. It's looking left, it's looking right. She's going to startle a grasshopper, I think is what that fork-tailed drongo is thinking. Sorry, I'm just watching this big girl. What's wrong? That was not nice. You didn't need to do that to me. I didn't walk up to you and shake my head at you. It's just a big cow. The one with the uneven tusks that we think is heavily pregnant. She just came right up behind the car and she shook her head at us, but she's moved off now. Now we've got the young'uns. We've got a group of sub-adult elephants over here, ranging from, I think the youngest one on the left is probably around 5 or 6 years old. And then these naughty ones over here, hello, you're coming right up to the car, aren't you? Slightly older, probably closer to about 10. Hello, you are beautiful, aren't you? Yes, what, does it smell nice? This elephant is about 30 centimeters away from the vehicle. Hello, very curious. Can you smell the petrol that I accidentally spilled this morning as I was trying to top up? Or are you smelling Senzo? Does he smell like Kenya? Look at that beautiful eye though. She's got very, very expressive eyes. Hello, it's okay. Now, young lady, unfortunately I'm not going to be able to move for you because you trapped me in. I'm not really worried about a young elephant like this. And they're quite sort of inquisitive. She actually hasn't showed us that she's unhappy with us once. It's not like she's shaking her head or stomping her feet. She's just picking up little tidbits on the ground. Little delicious snacks. But she's fine. She'll be alright. But don't let an elephant like this fool you. They can still do a lot of damage to the car. She might even be able to actually tip it over, but she doesn't want to do that. An elephant does not want to just attack you. That's something you must remember. Nikki, you said, uh-oh, I'm surrounded. I am indeed surrounded by young elephants. But like I said, it's nothing to worry. They're very curious. There's lots of space for them to move around me, and they're actually enjoying this. Like I said, there's so many different smells that come off of the car. They become quite curious. She could have just carried on walking, but she's not. There we go. Now she's bored. Now she's had her smell. Now we've just left with this little one here, which is quite nice. I could sit here, literally I could sit all day with the giants of Africa. They are so beautiful. Eating James's Weltherias. Yes. Have you got Weltherias in your mouth? This is a very sweet little elephant. Tess, you said that your day has been made. These are your favorite safari animals. They're mine too. That's why I keep coming back to the sighting, hey Tess. But can you blame me? I mean, wouldn't you? Well, actually, I'm sure every single one of you are sitting back at home green with envy that I am in fact surrounded by the most amazing animal, in my opinion, in the entire world. And it's such a peaceful, calm sighting too. And that's what is so amazing. To be able to view these animals in their natural environment, peacefully interacting with them. Very special. And this is how animals should be viewed all the time. Oh my goodness, hello. That's very close. What you doing? Relax. I'm just shuffling slightly. It's a little bit close now, isn't it? But a young elephant, curious. That's amazing. This is why I have the best job in the whole world. I don't care what anyone says. Don't touch it. Now I have to watch this, Ellie. You must be careful. I'm watching you. Don't touch the car. You can smell, but you can't touch. You can look, but you can't touch. Oh my goodness, my mic pack is falling out again. That would have been a disaster. I don't want to give you a fright. Sorry, that was my fault. That was my mic pack that was doing that. Let me just put it in a better spot. Okay, but coming around again, actually, look, this one, I'm enjoying this elephant over here. I think, is this the same girl that came past us? No, it's not, because she's got a bit of discharge in her side of her eye, and that other Ellie didn't have that. I always find that it's the young girls that are the ones at this particular age, sort of around 10 or so, some give or take a couple of years. They're either exceptionally moody. Oh, now that she's showing us what she thinks of us. That's a nice position. Oh, thank you. You can see it's cold. The steam coming off of it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean. Look, she's upset because I laughed at her now. I've embarrassed her. We won't look, we promise. I'll close my eyes. I won't watch you. That was so funny. So what I was saying is that they're quite sort of comical at this age. They're either very moody and they take their frustrations out on you and they shake their head and stomp their feet around, or they are so intrigued by all the different smells and sounds, and they've grown up with the vehicles. This elephant doesn't know life without a vehicle. We've been interacting with the safari cars for the last 35 years or so now, at least in the Sabi sand, and we've just become a part of their daily lives. They get so used to us. Normally when they're quite young, they're a little bit nervous, and then they see the older calves coming over and sort of investigating as well, and then they realize we're nothing to fear. But it's important to keep that barrier between you and the animals, and do not let them touch your car. That is one of the most important things, because as soon as they learn they can touch it, that's when you get problems sort of start to develop, because they are so curious then. They go, ooh, I've never felt metal before. There's nothing metal out here in the bush. And then the smells from the things that we use, the polishes that we use to clean the cars. Well, I polish my vehicle quite often. And even just my scent. I have a nachi in the car. I'm sure she'd probably pick up on the different types of fruits and things that we have. All very intriguing for such an intelligent young mind. And they want to know, what is that? But we can't let them touch our cars. And you've seen how we've all had run-ins with young elephant bulls, sometimes even big, fully grown elephant bulls. And it's not a fun experience. Not at all. Wow. Oh, Mita, my young friend who is only 8 years old. I love hearing all your questions. You said, can you come and sit with me and watch elephants? Mita, I would absolutely love to take you on a safari one day, only if you promise me that you will sit for an entire 3 hours with elephants. I'd love to take all our young viewers from Kobe right through to Skip. We haven't actually heard any questions for a while, to Tesla and Ben and Tula Ann, just all of our wonderful young viewers. We love hearing from you, and I'm so glad that you're all still watching. That is just absolutely incredible. Now, they're still feeding in this area. They're scattered, and they might come across the road again, and we've got elephants on either side now, but for the moment they're just taking a break. That cow seems to be feeding on, what are you feeding on? A bush willow, a variable bush willow. That's what she's nibbling on, and this is the time of the year that they do start to feed quite a bit on the bush willows. You can hear them cracking branches and trying to pick up the fallen trees, where they'll then move them and get the nice green grass. Wowee. Stretching up all the way to the top, not missing an opportunity to eat some tasty leaves. There's a go-away bird also just starting to call in the distance. It doesn't sound like it's anything too serious though. Now I'm not going to move. I'm going to stay in this spot because I might have to move for this cow just to give her a bit of room. But she's got a very young calf with her. Actually, Senzo, I think let me do that now. Let me just reverse just slightly, because I don't want to block her pathway, especially, oh, that's mic pack. I will give you to the elephant's mic pack, and then I promise you will come off second best. Just the reason, let me chuck it behind me. The reason why I'll just move a little bit forward. There we go, that's fine. We'll just watch them just from an angle for now. Little calf is coming through. Is that there? Oh, it's okay, big girl. Relax, it's not us. I know it's not us. Sorry, I'm just rolling back. It's okay. Sorry, Senzo, with watching. It's okay, big girl. This older calf, not this little one that we're watching now, but its older sibling, I think was trying to suckle from mom, and then mom sort of said no, and little one didn't listen, so then she sort of body bounced it out the way. And then she turned her agitation and frustrations towards us too. So it's just important. I just gave her a little bit more room than I've given the other elephants. They were quite happy to be around the vehicle. But just as you and I, we have good days, we have bad days. It's the same thing goes with every single animal out here in the bush. And she just wasn't as tolerant. And I think it's very important to respect what any of the animals say, but particularly an ellie cow, a fully grown elephant cow. I think there's another cow coming through now, or you're a bull. There's something on the ground, though, that they're really enjoying. I don't know what they're feeding on. See, I'm not sure actually what those little things are. Hello? No, don't come and cause trouble here. Mom has already just shouted at you. Do you need me to reprimand you too? Because I'll promise you I'll be a lot stricter than her. I'll get the wooden spoon out. No, just joking. Elephant would probably take the wooden spoon for me and eat it. There seems to be a little bit of tension, though, just with these elephants that are at the back of the herd. Now, Mason, you're wondering what are all the different sounds, all the different ways that elephants communicate. Here's a young bull, aka troublemaker number 2. So Mason, mainly trumpeting. That's sort of a distress call that we tend to hear quite a bit. We heard it earlier. The little one was trumpeting, but the little one was so excited though. I don't take nonsense from young elephant bulls. Thank you very much. You can carry on with your day. And straight away, look at that. Very aggressive behavior. So unnecessary. But you can imagine, and that maybe actually explains why that cow was slightly agitated, especially if she's got this young bull following from behind. Now, he should ideally be getting kicked out of the herd. He's actually probably close to his 20s, maybe between about 18 years old. He's much bigger than her, and look at her. You see how he just bullies his way through, pushes through. He wants to eat what everybody else is eating. He's just a bit too boisterous. So I don't tolerate that kind of behavior around my car, because what can happen is that those young elephant bulls will come right up to you and try and I always talk about this, they do this intimidation process where they basically stand right over the front of the car. It's not nice. I don't mind a young elephant being inquisitive and smelling around, but when they're that size, they're just too naughty for my liking. Let's reposition now though, see if we can get a better spot. And just a simple raise of your voice, change of tone, even just a slight tap, that's enough to send them off. Hello? No, please don't. I know, I'd also be really annoyed with that big elephant. He's not very nice. He wasn't very friendly to me either. Slight secretion from the temporal gland again. We've actually seen it a couple of times with this herd, so something must be bothering them. Whether it's just because the food availability is a lot less than what it was a couple of months ago, which is normal coming into the dry season. But this is a cow too. Perhaps she's just starting, or her hormones are starting to change. That's also another possibility that could cause that stimulation from the temporal gland. Oh, fantastic is this. What an amazing elephant sighting it has been. This is what I wish we could have every single day. And I always talk about it, and Byron also talks about it a lot, how humbling and how peaceful a sighting with elephants can really be. And I'm convinced, I'm still convinced that elephants should be used for sort of therapy. I don't know how you can get that right, but I reckon that they're not just on this planet for us to sort of view like this. I don't know, there's just something about them that I think can help. Oh, look at this little elephant. Are you going to chase me? Or are you going to try and climb that big log? Oh no. Oh my goodness. Surely not. Well, the technique's not quite there just yet, but it'll learn. It's got a bit of a disadvantage because this little one is so small. Come on, lift that back foot up and over the knobs. Luckily, they've got tough skin. That's a great bum shot. Oh, so precious. Come on, there we go. Well done. You get give you a round of applause. That was very impressive for such a little elephant. That was a big obstacle. Mom did it very easily. And just copying Mom. But it'll get better and better. The more logs it climbs. And now we've got some different behavior. We've got this elephant, which we were watching a moment ago. It's pushing all the trees around. And like I say, we're going to start seeing this almost every single time we encounter elephants. Them lifting up the fallen shrubs and sort of pushing them off to the side to try and get that nice green vegetation that's just lying underneath it. You're still on the bush willows, I see. There's some more elephants coming too, which is quite nice. Hopefully they'll be friendly like the ones we've just encountered. Are you also, let's see, how easy can you climb this fallen knobthorn tree? I'm sure much easier than your sibling. Over you go. Oh, that's not as impressive. Come back, little one, do it again. But this time face us. I would love to have seen the facial expressions that young elephant would have been showing us. That was so great. Oh, what a wonderful morning. I'm so happy I got to experience this with all of you. You're all so funny. Josh, you say that this is kind of like the Elephant Olympics. What event would that have been? Hurdles? I don't know. Oh, so amazing. Now, the Ellies have moved off into, well, mainly moved off into the thicket. Here's another one up top, so we're just going to reposition very quickly. I think they're going towards the Mulwati. I'm still waiting to hear a trumpet. And that trumpet needs to be like, get away, lions! And then we'll come racing in, of course, to go and hopefully find lions. I suppose elephants are like the bowling ball and the lions can be like the pin. That's normally what it looks like. Hello, young man. Here we go. This could be interesting. Hello, boy. You've got very pretty ivory, considering that you're quite a young elephant. He's a young male, and typical of elephants of this age, as we just saw. He's not quite as big and strong as the other one, who showed that he was slightly unhappy with us. Much smaller, but also straight away head shake. Probably very frustrated with life, not really participating with the herd, sort of just hanging around on the outskirts. You might find that he's getting to the point now where basically his family is turning on him. It sounds really harsh, but that's essentially what happens when they get pushed out of the breeding herds, the young males. As the females stand together and say, right, no more. Sorry, young man, I know it's not a very pleasant experience, but it must be done. They're all over here. John, you're wondering if I think that if the elephants show sadness when their son leaves the herd? I'm not sure, because I think that the way that those young males behave, I think it's enough to it drives the females crazy. They absolutely lose their minds. They can't do anything without a bull tailing them and trying to smell them all the time, or pushing their young calf over. They get so rough. They try and be mated with all the time. It's just an absolute nuisance. I really think that by the time those males are ready to leave the herd, the females are saying good riddance. But I don't know. Of course, I'm just speculating. It's very, very difficult to tell. One thing I have to show you that is so beautiful, though, very quickly, is look at that amazing tropical tent-web spider. Just because we saw one with an elephant's head, I just wanted to show you the beautiful sort of light that's coming off this. And this is quite a big tropical tent-web spider. So I look forward to doing bushwalks again, so we can have closer looks of these things. However, Tara's been driving around. I wonder what else she has found. Let's go back across to her and see if she's got anything interesting to show you.
Brilliant. Well, welcome on board again, and it sounds like you've had a fantastic time with elephants. And we've just heard that the guys have caught up with 2 lions down by a tree. Oops, sorry, forgot about that little bump in the road. So the guys have found the 2 lions down towards Treehouse Dam, so that's where we're heading now. And oh, little family of warthogs. big family of warthogs actually. Off they go. Okay. Okay, I'm just getting an update on where they're going. Ah, okay. So it sounds like they've gone into the riverbed. So we'll see if we can actually still catch up with them. Keep your fingers crossed. So we're heading down Weaver's Nest. I think that's the most direct route from what I can remember. Copy, thanks. Also on Weaver's Nest. And I do have to make a slight correction from what I was calling Chitwa cutline. Of course it's not Chitwa cutline, it's cheetah cutline. Memory's a little bit rusty on the road names, but as I say, I'm sure we'll get there. And welcome on board. If there's anyone new on board and would like to ask questions, or if you're an old hand at the game, then still would like to ask a question, then hashtag Safari Live if you'd like to send any questions through. It'd be great to hear from you this morning on my first drive back in South Africa for, well, I haven't set foot in Africa or on African soil for about 18 months. I was lucky enough to go to a conference in Kruger. But I actually left the country after 10 years about 2 years ago. So, but now it's feeling like I've never left. It's absolutely awesome. I'm loving being back and driving these roads again. And I actually think the bush has been very good to us this morning. We've seen a whole variety of animals already. But as a lot of you know, cats are one of my first loves. So it'd be nice to actually catch up with some cats if they have stuck around for us. And my other big love is rhinos actually. I've been lucky enough to work with them in captivity and they are just amazing creatures. And I was very lucky to see one last night. I was very, very happy. And also, hopefully you can see, the sky has actually cleared. So all the mist has cleared, thankfully, and it's actually warming up now. And welcome on board Danny in Chicago, 12 years old. Great to hear from you, Danny. Daddy would like to know what animals I have in my home country. So I was born and bred in the UK, in England, and as I say, came out here in my early 20s to become and be a guide. So unfortunately we don't really have the chance to see a lot of the wildlife, which is very sad. I still have never seen a badger. What are we seeing? Aha, monkeys. Let's see if I can pull forward a little bit. Well spotted, Craig. I'm looking down on the ground to see which way the tracks have gone from the vehicles. Station with Ngala, is it still okay to approach? I'm on the northern side. Not as yet, we're just about to turn towards Treehouse Dam now. So, copy, thank you. So a vervet monkey catching the rays of the sun. Don't blame him. I'm actually thinking other animals will be popping out of the bush to warm up a little bit. he's nice and quiet, so the lions have got to be this side. So he's got quite a nice vantage point. And monkeys are probably one of the few species I will actually listen to. They're usually spot on when it comes to giving alarm calls. Some of the other animals are a little bit wishy-washy, but the monkeys, very much so, I listen to them. So I'm just looking out for where the vehicle is. Apparently he's in the bush here somewhere. So I'm not sure which lions these are, so I'm definitely going to need help from you guys back home. I know you know your cats very well now. That's, haha, there we go. So we've got a vehicle up ahead. Okay, so I think they're also looking for the sighting. Said to keep going west. So I thought they were the ones that had the lions, so they're still looking. I was going to say, I'm sure he said he was off into the bush. Hi Penny, good to hear from you. Penny from South Africa. I've been lucky enough to meet Penny and her family. We had a lot of fun over in Kruger. Penny saying that the kudu, I missed which other animal she was saying is good alarm caller. But kudu have led me astray. And the vervets, yeah. Penny also backing me up with the vervets there. But I have been led astray a couple of times with the kudu. And impala. Ah, I see a vehicle up ahead there now. Giraffe is another one that I listen to. They're usually spot on, but they don't tend to give too much in the way of calls, but certainly if they're staring at something. And Penny will remember, actually, we had a load of giraffe and we were just about to move on, and I said, no, they're looking at something. And just as I was starting to look at where they were looking, Penny said, oh, there's a leopard. Aha. So it looks like they are nicely in the bush there. Confirm standby. Copy. Confirm I can still approach. Copy, thank you. So for any new viewers on board, just wondering what's going on here. When we have a big animal sighting like this, obviously we don't want to crowd the animals. So there's a limit of 3 vehicles in a sighting, just so that we don't crowd the animals. And we have to ask, oh there he is, just moving away up ahead. But we have to ask whoever's found the animals, we then ask if we can approach the sighting, and then we have a system where we have to go on a standby. So with 3 vehicles, and then usually 2 on a standby list, and we just take turns to move in and out of the sighting, and that's just to help keep the animals nice and relaxed. So we're doing a little bit of bush driving here, just trying to follow the tracks of the previous vehicle. And I'm just wondering if he went through there. I think he went round, didn't he? I think the lions went off that way. Sorry? Go through there, yeah. You still see the lions? I think they went up through that side, didn't they? Okay, so I think we're going to cross the Taylor while we try and see if we can locate these lions, so you don't see us fighting our way through the bush too much, and see if Taylor's actually got something interesting to show you while we try and catch up with them.
I did just have the most amazing and petrifying bird encounter of my entire life. Thank goodness the reinforcements of the hornbills have come in. This Birchall starling that we're looking at now charged me. Now, I know you all think that I'm talking absolute nonsense, but I promise you, it did. It was feeding on elephant dung, and we put the camera on it, and the next minute it came running down the road towards us with its sort of a tail fanned out and was going shriek, shriek, shouting at us. And then I was reversing, and it kept running after us. It was quite funny, but I think this is one of the Birchall starlings. We may have seen it before, that has worked out that this is a sundowner spot. And when it sees the cars potentially mean crumbs, crisps that get dropped on the floor, and I think that's what it was doing. But it was so funny. I was in hysterics. It was very scary. I just wish we'd come back and do it again. It was definitely a once-in-a-lifetime experience. I managed to actually take a video of it. So maybe I shall show you the video a little bit later. Otherwise, I'll post it on Twitter or Instagram or something like that so you can all see. It was so great. But they're very hungry. There's quite a few different birds around here. There's the other Birchall starling, and then there's even a yellow-billed hornbill, the grumpiest bird in the bush. Not looking very happy. Look at that. Do you see what I mean when I say the grumpiest bird? All fluffed out, head tucked just about in its wings, waiting for the sun to rise. I think the bush has been very kind to me today. So thank you very much, nature, because you've definitely provided me with many smiles and laughs on my last safari before I go on holiday. I'm coming back, don't worry, I'm not leaving. Although maybe some of you would have been clapping. But no, sadly, you're all still stuck with me. Isn't this amazing? Safari Wild Man, you said that you think that we should cancel my holiday. You're going to miss my humor. Well, that's very kind of you. Thank you very much. I'm going to miss all of you too. But you know, I can't get enough. I end up watching the show when I'm on holiday because I have withdrawals from the bush. And I enjoy watching the show. It's really hilarious. Sometimes, well, most of the time it's really quite funny. There's one hippopotamus which I'm going to show you now, but I don't think we're going to stay here very long because our friend the hippo is sleeping. He hasn't even turned to look at us, which is not surprising. Been out on an adventure last night, looking for grass, nice areas to graze, and unfortunately these hippos are going to have to start moving further and further away from these permanent water sources. Well, not that this is actually permanent because it can dry up, but it seems to have quite a bit of water in it. And I'm just trying to think. Grazing's it's quite average around here. You can see there's not really any grass on the banks. There's very little. Probably be heading towards maybe even Buffelshoek, Hook, going to look for some grass. Otherwise, it's going to have to move quite far south from here to find some decent grazing. Although I think the grazing around Cheetah Cut Line's not too shabby because we often see a lot of wildebeest and zebra. But he's not going to be doing anything. He's not even twitching his ears. He's fast asleep. Well, Hippo, I hope that you enjoy your morning resting in the sun, and I hope that it does warm up and you get a bit of sun on your back. Let's carry on. Let's go down. We're going to take Inyala Road north. Maybe we'll see if we can do a bit of birding. Seeing as though we've got the elephants out of the way, we had a quick glimpse of lions, and hopefully you'll see some more lions soon with Tara, which will be very nice. I'm sure she's excited to see her first lion back, although I think she's going to be more excited when she gets to see a leopard. So I've ticked off the things that I wanted to see this morning. Lions, elephants, we got to see a hippo, that's a bonus, charged by a bird. Now I love birding. Not amazing at it, but I do enjoy it. And we might bump into some more elephants. There seems to be lots of debris around here. They've scattered a couple of branches off on the road. But I would like to go and find what bird do I want to see? I wouldn't mind seeing an orangey-breasted bushshrike before I go. That would be a goodie. Or a grey-headed bushshrike would be fantastic too. Maybe that southern bobo again. Who knows? Another white-bellied sunbird. That could be a goodie to add to the list. Now that they seem to be coming back for all the flowers, which would be nice. Any birds. I'll be happy with a turtle dove. What a great morning. Finally, the fog is now lifted. The sun will probably break through the last bit of cloud in the next 20 minutes or so. It looks like it's definitely winning. Beautiful out here though. Lovely clear skies. It's going to be a hot day. Now, Anna, here's a sensitive subject. You're wondering if I've ever been lucky enough to see a pangolin in the wild. Never. I haven't even seen a pangolin in captivity before. I wouldn't even have a clue as to what they feel like. Oh, there's a little dacre you may have seen just ran across the road very delicately. So no, I haven't. It's an animal that I'm not dying to see, but I'd absolutely love to see it, of course, when I get the chance. But I know my time will come. It will come, and I think I'll be so surprised and excited. Maybe it shouldn't happen while I'm at work, at least my first sighting, because I don't think I'd be able to say anything. I think I'd honestly be at loss of words. So I hope that I get to see my first pangolin sighting somewhere out and I can get all that excitement over and done with. And then if we see one here while we're live, then I can at least tell you some interesting things about them. Otherwise, I'd just be silent Taylor. That's the only time you'll probably hear me quiet too, as if I get to see a pangolin. I'll just be completely shocked. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that day, of course. Oh, where are the birds? Haven't heard any food parties moving through here just yet, but we'll get to my favorite little spot in a little while, and then I'll just sit quietly, and even if there's nothing around, a bird party's bound to come through, because it's an area where there's lots of food around. There's the knob thorns, of course, that are all in flower at the moment. You can actually have a look. You can actually see that there's a beautiful knobthorn tree with its lovely flowers straight ahead. That one. No, to the right. That one hasn't got flowers on. There we go. Just that one over there. No, next one. Almost there, the one with flowers. To the right. No, other right. Keep going, keep going. There we go. Well done, Senzo. There's the flowers that I was talking about. I think Senzo needs some coffee. You're freezing. But there we go. So there's plenty of food. There's lots of jackalberries down in the drainage line, so there's fruit on those. So we're going to get a wide variety of birds in this area, and that's why we come down here when we want to do some birding. And even just mammals. You might find monkeys up in there also eating the flowers. You find lots of different things. Squirrels might be about too. And it's a lovely tree. It's actually a very pretty scene against the blue sky. It's not really quite blue. It's sort of a greyish blue sky this morning, but it will get there once the sun breaks through. Isn't that lovely? Right. Get rid of that cold. But let's carry on going down this road. Let's go see what we can find down here. I can hear the birds starting to tweet now. Oh, have to go. I suppose you have to put the car in gear to drive, hey? That might help. Oh, well, maybe we're going to be jump aboard, so I'm going to send you across to. She's got those lions.
Welcome back, everybody. We're just trying to see if we can get a view of these lions for you. They're somewhere over here, I think. I'm just going to try and drop down a little bit more. I'm just seeing, so I think they're on that side. The bush was very thick, so we've actually had to come back out onto the road and then drop in again. I'm wondering, there might be a chance to cross here. So it sounds like it is a male and a female, so I'm hoping it's a pair that's mating. Let's see if we can get through this bit here. Just got to take it very slow and easy. Sometimes what looks like a place that you can pass is maybe not. Let's see. Sometimes your back end gets caught. So I thought that was going to happen there. Oh, hello. Have we got another ditch there? No? Okay. Oh, is there a stump? Okay. Because everyone was looking this way, so I'm hoping we can maybe get through here and cut them off a little bit. Well, not cut them off of where they're wanting to go, but just get into the line of sight of where they're going. Square peg, round hole. Okay, do you think we could get around there? Because if we can, it's a bit more open that side. William's asking if the tow truck's ready. Thanks, William. Great to know everyone's expecting me to get stuck, which actually we could potentially do. I feel like I'm going to have to do a bit of a Austin Powers movement here. It's that scene in the corridor. Ooh. So Ali apparently went looking for lions and broke the steering wheel. So it is possible, and I say that's why we try and be very careful when we are off-roading. How are we doing with that stump? Am I getting close to it, or? Sorry? It's in. So I should be able to drive over it. Okay, let's give it a go. So obviously the last thing we want to do is actually have a flat tyre as well. Although I have had that, a flat tyre and a lion sighting. It's not the best thing in the world. Had my guests keeping a watch out for the lions, and it was at night as well, so they had a spotlight on the lions. The lions were literally a few metres from the second vehicle, so we used the second vehicle to shield my vehicle and quickly change the tyre. Okay, we are through, guys. See? Oh, ye of little faith. Okay, so hoping we might be able to see them through there. So if we go, I'm going to go around the tree and try and come in from that side. Mr. P from Canada, you are so right. The colours today are absolutely beautiful. The browns, the greens against the backdrop of now the clear blue sky. And of course, another brown we're hoping to see somewhere through there. I'm not seeing anything, sadly. Just copy, thank you. Yeah, I'm just trying to see if there's a way through. So he's saying they sleeping somewhere just in front of us. So we're in the right place. So I'm wondering, going a bit further around and trying to get in there. Okay. Let me just see if we can get around. Cool, so I think while we try and see if we can get around, because we're not going to fit through those little bushes there. So I think, yeah, we'll try and go around. So while we do that, we're going to link back to Taylor and see if she can find something for you in the meantime.
Straight through them, Tara, straight through those trees. It's the way you've got to go. No, I'm only teasing. There are some mongoose though running around here. Whether they're going to stay out, since or just where those trees have fallen over, there's one staring at us. There's a whole family of them around here though. Oh, there we go. There they are. And they're just ducked inside for cover in that sandpaper raisin. Where are you going, little one? Don't go too quickly. Oh my goodness, I can even hear a plane taking off. It must be taking off from Chitwa airstrip. Oh, careful. I think you tried to have a little scratch and then forgot that it maybe also needs to hold on. Almost fell off there. Luckily, it wouldn't have been a far fall from the ground. But they're enjoying the sun now. It's poked through. Oh, they've even climbed even higher. You see there's one above it. Look at that. So this has been toppled over. I presume the elephants have probably been in here feeding on this raisin tree. And now it's made for a great sort of a hidey hole for small creatures such as mongoose, and even little crested francolins would utilize something like that. They would run underneath it if there was a bird of prey trying to get them, or it makes for a great spot to also sun yourself. And I'm sure there could be lots of insects around there too, so they'll come and forage and hopefully try and chase something out. But there's a whole lot of them there. They're all starting to climb up now, which is really quite sweet. In fact, normally we see them sitting on termite mounds. We don't often get to see them sitting on tops of fallen shrubs. Isn't that nice? There's another little head just poking out in the bottom right-hand corner. There's a couple there. An entire colony. Very sweet. And the most ferocious little carnivore. Oh. And it's not just the little mongoose that we've got as well. I'm going to draw your attention away from these cute little things just for a moment. But Senzo, sorry, I know now you're going to have to are you going to fly as well? There's another lilac-breasted roller just up there. There was a pair of them. Ah, man, should have stuck with the mongoose. Sorry, Senzo. Sneaky things. I thought they were going to stay up there. I just heard them chirping. And we know that they're doing their courtship display at the moment, and it's always very interesting to watch something like that. And it was so close as with a beautiful blue backdrop, but my bad. They just weren't sticking around for long enough. But these mongoose are. I think they would have had a late start today. I don't know how mongoose feel about the fog, because it must also be quite daunting for them. Imagine a raptor, say a tawny eagle or something, flying through that thick fog. These mongoose wouldn't even see it coming. It was so dense. So actually, I suppose it can help with the various predators, not only lions and leopards and hyenas and cheetah, but some predators from the sky too. They'll be able to see through that fog, no problem. Very sweet, these little mongoose. I haven't seen them for quite some time. Yes, we're watching you. And I think that they have a Djuma mound that they're living in somewhere around here. Like I said, it's the sun's only come out recently, and they won't really leave the mound until the day is warmed up, and until they can warm themselves up in the sun, and that's why they're climbing to these high perches. So they couldn't have come from too far. And I'm hoping to bump into our friends the elephants too, as we go around the corner, because the birds, all the birding that I wanted to do, unfortunately didn't play out. There were none. They've all gone somewhere else. So I can hear some white-crested helmet shrikes calling in the distance too, but they seem to be quite far away. Yes, that's a nice spot to sun yourself. There's another one coming down onto the ground, looking for something to eat. What great variety we've had this morning. Now, Anna, you're wondering, what animal do I find the most amusing to watch? Now, it's actually a very difficult question to answer. However, I think from my experience this morning, elephants are my absolute favorite. They normally are so entertaining. Today was a particularly good sighting with the elephants, though. But even sitting and watching the smallest little carnivore that we have in the area, such as these dwarf mongoose, can be really quite fun to do. And one of my favorite things to do, and I used to do with guests all the time, is actually get out the car and sit with them. And I tried it a few weeks back, and it was very difficult for me to sit so quietly. And we were actually talking about it last night, how I had to sit on my hands, because otherwise I wave them around and then I scare them. And I tried not to talk, but I couldn't help myself. I had to resort to a whisper. It's very difficult. I find silences can be, for me, are very awkward. I feel uncomfortable. Aren't you precious? And it's warm now too. I can't believe how quickly the temperature changes out here. I mean, a moment ago my hands were freezing and were bright red. I thought my fingers were going to fall off, and now I'm going to have to take my scarf off and my big jacket soon, because this day is really, really turning out to be a lovely day. I love it. Normally when we have these very sort of mornings covered with fog and the sun comes through, and it's typically quite warm. That one looks like it's in a trance now. Still listening, of course. I think for a moment there, it was enjoying the sun. And they're lovely. I think we're going to head around now and see if we can't relocate on those elephants one last time. Perhaps they'll be out in the open again. Let's go across to Tara, who has been, well, navigating through the thickest of thick terrain. She's finally managed to find the lions.
Well, I had managed to find the lions, and then literally, as has been happening throughout the day, he got up and walked to where there's a little bit more shadow. But there is a female, just, you might be able to work it out in shot. Yeah, she's found herself a nice shadow spot as well. And as the sun starts to creep higher and higher, those areas are going to become smaller. But they're going to be probably like this for the rest of the day. But I think it is just a male and female, so I'm pretty certain they are going to be a breeding pair. So he still sounds a little bit restless over there. Oh, you think it's a car? So, unfortunately, we're not. I don't think I'm going to be able to get around the front of where that female is. But we might be able to squeeze through the bush here and see if we can go around the back and see if we can get a view of the male behind. He's actually behind that bush in front of us. So I think we'll give that a go. He looked like quite a golden maned lion, which is quite nice to see. You don't see them very often, because the females tend to prefer a darker maned male. Apparently they find that more attractive. They actually did quite an interesting study on that. Hi Joe! Joe saying perhaps they want some privacy. They're not really that bothered. It's more the say the cool patch to not have to move for the rest of the day. Say he was just sat right next to the female. Female's gone, you know what, I'm not really that interested in mating right now. And that's what happens, so they'll actually have a bit more time just to go and lie down, and then hopefully in the next 15-20 minutes or so, I'm just worried about this branch coming back and hitting us, he might actually be allowed to mate again, because they do mate every 15-20 minutes throughout the day and night for 3 to 5 days sometimes. Thanks Joe, yes that's very true. Once we get in, how are we going to get out? And that is a very good question, and I think that's probably going to happen off air. Just being very careful of this branch, so we're just taking it very easy. Yeah, I'm just going to try and protect myself as well. Well done. Well done, Craig. Okay. So there's the female. You can see her a little bit better now. So yeah, you can see she really doesn't care. So yeah, so I was just saying about the mane, and they did this really interesting study where they had males with long and short manes and dark and golden manes, and they actually found that the females were going for the long dark manes, because generally speaking the longer manes are going to be on the males that are older, it's going to be stronger as well and very well fed, so sort of very fit really. So that's kind of a sign for them that hopefully that male who's going to father their offspring is going to pass on very good genes, so that their offspring will hopefully go on and survive. So they were picking these males that had the darker manes over the golden maned lines. Now I don't know if there was actually a difference in fitness between the golden and the dark mane lines, but it seemed to be that's, if they had the choice, that's what they were going for. So there are another 2 vehicles in the sighting, so if we go and try and move, we're going to disturb their sighting. So I think we're going to stay here for now, rather than trying to go and see the male. Sorry, I missed the first part of that question. Could you repeat that? I missed that. So Mr. Rudy, welcome on board, wondering what determines the colour of the manes. and I'm not entirely sure, it will be genetics. And usually the golden haired males are found more in the Kruger area than the dark maned males further north. But I'll have to try and dig that paper out. It's a long time ago since I've read that, and I'll see if they talked about what actually did determine it, and if there was the genes that determined it. But certainly the dark colour will be the melanin, as we've spoken about earlier on today. In the giraffe's tongue it'll be the same pigmentation. It's just the black, so wherever you see black on animals, that's what's causing the colour. So the black on the back of the ears on the lion, the tip of the tail. And of course you do get the different colour variants of animals that lack that pigmentation. So you get the white lions. They're not actually albino. Albino, there's no colour at all, so there's no pigmentation, so that's why you get to see the pink nose, the pink ears and the pink eyes, because they have absolutely no pigmentation whatsoever on the species that are pure albino. But with the white lions, they have brown on the back of the ears, they have the brown tip to the tail, and obviously they have different coloured eyes as well. They often have blue eyes, but I have seen white lions with yellow eyes as well, so they do have some pigmentation. So it's actually known as leucism rather than albino. They're very much so, Tess. They're so regal even though they're sleeping. They really are. And the term the king of the jungle, although obviously we're in the bush here, so I'm wondering if that term actually came from the lions from India, because then they would be in the jungle over in India. So the Asian lion is a different species to the African lion that you're seeing here. And there's only about 300 left in the world, and that's in the Gaia forest in India. But the African lion is not doing so well itself either. Unfortunately, they're actually found in pockets now, whereas before they would be over the whole of the country, or in many areas of the country. But now they're becoming isolated into small pockets, and these populations can't go between the pockets, so they're actually not able to keep the genes nice and varied, which is what's really important to help animals fend off diseases and things like that. So the more variety of genes you have, if a disease comes along, it might attack animals with or without certain genes, and others, those will survive, go on to breed, and they have this immunity to that disease. If you have a very limited variation in the genes, it might be that they don't have that gene to become immune, and they'll actually have the disease, and it can wipe out the whole population. And unfortunately, that's what's happened with cheetah, because they went through what's called a bottleneck, and they went down to very low numbers, and the genetic variation within the cheetah is very, very small, so they're very susceptible to diseases, unfortunately. So that keeps the numbers relatively low as well. You just get disease that wipes out a population, that's it. So what they're trying to do is actually have corridors to allow the movement of lions, and certainly up where South Africa meets Botswana, they're actually trying to keep a corridor open between the three different populations that are in that top corner. And I think it's Zimbabwe? It's Zimbabwe, Botswana and South Africa. There's the three populations there. And as I say, they're trying to actually keep those corridors open to keep the gene flowing, because they've actually found that's a really important population to keep that variety of genes up there. So it's really important what they're doing up there. Now, I was kind of hoping with it being a breeding pair we might get some movement, but as I say, she's very much happy to chill out at this stage, but if she's ready to mate, she will let the male know, and he'll be there like a shot. Yeah, Nancy definitely out for the count. But as I say, it could just turn, it just could change in an instant. If she just gives the male the word that she's ready to mate, then we can see some interesting behaviour coming out. So she could look up, she could walk over to him, nuzzle him. So as soon as she could even just give him a glance, and he'll know, okay, I'm allowed to approach. But if she's not ready, and he tries it on, he will know very quickly she is not interested. She'll take a swipe at him with a paw, snarl. So I think we're going to stick with these cats just to see if there is any action. But Taylor is on the move, so I think we're going to cut to her and see if she can find you anything, and we'll stick with these cats.
It's actually been a little bit quiet all of a sudden. We did have a really sweet squirrel sighting though, which was quite nice. It was this young squirrel that was very obliging. It sort of crawled up and we were eye level with it. We just sat so still. Senzo and I going, this is amazing. And then, Senzo, did you manage to record some of the footage? He said, I have to record it, so very slowly turning the camera, and then Squirrel gave us maybe about 30 seconds or a minute or so of really good up-close footage, which was really quite nice. But of course, by the time anybody, you link across to us, they run away. It's always such a quick sighting. Those are the kinds of sightings you need to sort of pick up as you're driving along while you're with us. And we'll see if we can find another one. I think all the animals out here are just so happy that the sun has finally broke through the clouds, because it definitely is warming the bush up now. We'll just see if we can find another one. Good areas around here. Lots of marula trees. So we know that the squirrels would have stashed some of the marula nuts in these little places. So essentially they should be here. I think we'll get better luck if we head a bit closer towards quarantine. I don't really see anything in the silver cluster leaves, and not many things feed on the silver cluster leaves anyway. Let's just keep checking. And bird-wise, haven't really seen any interesting birds. Not any that make me want to jump out of my chair for, with excitement. It's a little bit disappointing. Oh, it's okay. We've had such a fantastic drive anyway. Come on, squirrels. There's a spot. Let's see if the squirrels are going to be in the same spot every single day. Just at this junction with Vuyatela access now, there's a couple of them that hang around on the floor and they bounce up and down. So I'm going to go across there very, very quietly and try and not make too much noise. I might even switch the car off in a minute. There's a squirrel. Yay! Not quite in the spot that I said. Must have heard me talking about them. He said, oh, Taylor's going to be quiet. Let's go and watch. Oh, you're coming towards us. Very, very cute. Okay, let's see. Where are you going? It's unusual. It's coming closer and closer and closer. I think I'm being charged by all these animals. We're going to lose a squirrel in a minute because it's going to disappear behind the car. Look how close it is. Why are all the animals trying to chase me away? I will post that video though as soon as I get back of the Birchall starling charging me, because it was hysterical. It was really so funny. No, this one doesn't seem to be shouting at me or fanning its tail at me. I'm quite inquisitive. I wonder what it's thinking. I don't think this is an adult though. It looks quite young. And I find with the younger animals, they are quite sort of curious too. Justin, you say a brave squirrel? I agree. Running in front of my car is very dangerous. It heard your comment, Justin, and then second-guessed itself and thought, oh, maybe I'm being a bit silly. Are you the brave heart of squirrels? All you need are 2 blue stripes on the side of your face? No, no stripes on the side of his face. So yes, I don't know if this is an adult though. I think it looks like a youngster. And they are curious. You see it with them. Oh my goodness. Now you're too close. Go back. Oh, I can roll very quietly. There you go. Not run. Didn't like the squeaking coming from my car. But very brave though. Maybe it's worked out that I'm not interested in, well, eating it. Sinatra, you say the young and the curious. That is 100% true. That's definitely the case here. That is precious. I can't believe that everything is going my way today. That's amazing. Normally the bushes always can be quite nasty to me sometimes, even though I drive around and I try and say all these wonderful things about it. Sometimes it just leaves me with absolutely nothing. And I said that I wanted to show you a squirrel, and then look. Amazing. Maybe sense, or maybe it's your luck that I'm utilizing today. Now I wonder where the rest of them are, because there's normally quite a few around here. Oh, and off it goes into the long grass. There you go, just see its tail disappearing. Well, that was nice, don't you think? Wasn't that lovely? Thank you, squirrel. Oh, okay, well, it's been wonderful. I'm going to say a goodbye to you now. We're going to go across to Tara though, but in case you don't hear from me, what a wonderful cycle. Thank you, everybody. We've had some great sightings, and I look forward to coming back to work so that we can, well, continue doing these fantastic drives. But I'll see you all in 2 weeks' time. Otherwise, I'll chat to you all on Twitter. I'm going to send you across now for the last couple of minutes with Tara and those sleeping lions.
Well, welcome back, everybody, and it sounds like you were charged by a squirrel. Brave little squirrel. So we haven't had any more movement from this pair of mating lions. And we haven't repositioned. I was going to try, but there's another vehicle that's just opposite the male line. I think there was, you could just about make out the male in the bush, but I think, yeah, have to have a very good imagination to make sure that you can try and fit a line to it. But it really has been such a wonderful first drive. I really hope everybody's been enjoying it. Oh, thanks, Richard. Just saying you really like the fact that we've just highlighted the decline in lions, and it is quite often overlooked because, you know, the lions are fairly regularly seen on game drives. Maybe not here in the Sabi Sands in our little part of the world, because we have quite a few prides that cross boundaries, so it's hit and miss sometimes that we see lions, but I think it is worth highlighting just to make sure that people are aware, and that's what it's all about, making people aware. And that's what I love about Safari Live, and I'm so glad everyone could join us today, and I really hope you can join us this afternoon for our next game drive. Myself and Byron will be out, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing Taylor when she gets back. But thanks, everybody, have a good day, and we'll see you again later. Bye for now.